Well, howdy there, boys and girls and ladies and gentlemen. Hey, look, there's me. Hey! So here we are inside the mill truck and got a lot of stuff done the past couple weeks or so and stuff on it, which we're going to walk through here quickly. So I guess we'll start on the outside, even though I started on the inside by sitting there. So anyway, we'll walk around. Things are a little bit cleaner in here in the shop. It's amazing what a clean shop does for you. I learned that from Nathan Kershaw. Sometimes you just got to clean things up and it just makes you feel a whole lot better once you're not laying inside of stuff. I mean, there's the whole safety aspect of it too. But there's just the what did Nathan say? Just the, I don't know, emotional and mental state of it. Now, over there's a huge mess, but that's another story. So anyway, so here's the mill truck. Crown Vic, brake booster, and master cylinder are bolted straight to the wall, trimmed off those ridges that are right there in the firewall, and drilled in the holes, got those in. The PCM this year, the PCM is on the cab side sticking through, so it's down there in the dash, which I guess you can look at. All the other connectors come out here. Cruise control module is mounted on that side. The wiring's all set underneath the dash, so the customer can do it later on. The big harness that normally runs all the way across here and over to the, oops, there it is, to the fuse box. That's running across the back side again on this one and over. So it makes for a little bit of a cluster on this side. It'd be really nice to take that fuse box and put it right there. But with the way the hinges go on this year, that year, they're of course on this outside here, but this year they're on this side. So it has to have somewhere to come down. But anyway, whatever. It still works. It's nice and secure. It's in there. The wiring's all wrapped up and stuff. Got the AC system of the Crown Vic all in. I talked about this lots before. We're currently working on trying to see if we can get the vintage air to match up to the Crown Vic system and stuff, but I don't think it's going to happen. Bad Apple Garage is kind of working on that as well too, and of course what we do is the trade of HVAC, residential and commercial HVAC stuff, so we are looking at different capacity levels is kind of what we're running into on it. I mean, this was Crown Vic, which is a big four-door car, so we got a big evap, big lines and stuff like that, bigger compressor. So I don't know, we'll see. If any of you have any insight to that, just either message or find us on Facebook and stuff, and we can talk about it. But so we're looking at doing that because this is just, it's a ton of work to get this to modify. Like this one, just like with the blue truck, the 73, I actually modified the firewall. So I brought this whole section of the firewall out so that it would meet the airbox a lot better. And then, of course, as always, had to fab the supply side into the coil box. So it is what it is. It has AC, which on a lot of this type of stuff, and hot rods and rat rods or whatever, roadsters, whatever you want to call stuff, classics like this don't have that unless you're going to spend, I mean, you're definitely going to spend the money on the vintage air kit and stuff, but it might be worth it just to boom, boom, done. I mean, this stuff, even as many as we've done, this whole thing here, as you've seen in my other videos, it takes a lot of time, and I still am not super excited about the way it looks on this side or on the other side. But again, it's got AC, which is leaps and bounds ahead of what it ever did. So I think it's pretty nice. Radiators all mounted up, kind of low. Probably on the next ones we'll go up higher with the radiator and stuff. Of course, you have to watch how high you go, because then the cap on that hits the top of course, the inner springings on the hood and stuff with it. But yeah, everything else is in. ABS stuff is all hooked up on this one. I've run some of the sensors. We are using all of the truck lighting and the lighting controls onto it, so I just have to run the wires for that up and across here, but the switch is there, which we'll go inside and see. So in here in the cab, we have, for one thing, the biggest difference than all of the ones that we've done thus far is, as you can see, the truck column is in on this one. So this one, as well as like with the black truck, we're utilizing the stock truck column onto it. So, which, as a side note on that, if anybody's looking at doing that, your best bet is that you're going to have to assume that you're going to have to do some rebuilding on the column and stuff. This one's not horrible. It's definitely tighter than the rest, but it still has a decent amount of play. The black one over there, bearing stuff had to be redone. The cowboy truck, the Bad Apple, is just finishing up on before they do the AC. That one, same thing too. Just the bearings and stuff all turn to crap and stuff on these. They're like 40, 50 years old. So what do you expect? So if you're going to do that, then be aware that you're going to have to do some work on that column and stuff. So, but it does just hook up to the Crown Vic. Nothing super special on this one. I wanted to try on this one because of having supply issues, which I don't know if else has noticed that, but there's massive supply issues and shipping issues and delays and everything else on, well, everything mechanical and stuff. So with this one, because the 3-4 pieces or whatever that you can get from Amazon and everyone else were delayed, then we were able to actually get the Crown Vic shaft to work and stuff onto it. So I just tacked it to took the little saddle off of the original truck column on the end there, welded the tube on with a coupler that's up there. It's hard to get the tube straight through. So this is our first coupler right here, the first knuckle, which is also a coupler, as you can see on that end. I gotta tighten that down, and then that's all. It's all Crown Vic stuff. It's just slid up into the tail shaft, or whatever we call it, end shaft of the truck column, and then it's welded together onto it. So still has the collapsible options, possible spots in the column on the truck, and still has the knuckles and steers and turns really great. It's really weird sitting in this thing with that truck steering wheel and stuff onto it. I mean, you can see where it sets. It's got huge distance, so it's just weird. All the rest of them I'm used to sitting where the Crown Vic column is at, so it sits in a lot further, but this is really nice. This column is definitely, on this year 69, a lot longer than that year, so it sits out. I think you can even see it from here. It doesn't sit out, towards the driver as far as this one does. So also the seat may need to be slid back too on it, so, but whatever, it is what it is. Okay, so onto this. As you can see, column is in. Okay, we are running everything off of the truck ignition, so it's all been wired in. We're able to match up the wires and stuff on it, so the ignition fires up just like it's supposed to. The wiper is using the factory truck wiper on it, so that's powered up and working. I tested that already. And then we're going to use the factory light switch. I'll just run wires. I'll find a wire back in there on the fuse panel. Some of that extra stuff, like I said, is for the like traction control, cruise control, and stuff like that onto it. So, but this is the lighting from the truck, so they're all plugs that come out of the bottom, which I saved the plug. So I'll tie onto those and run forward and run backwards, and you'll have the factory light. So everything in here will look pretty factory, except for obviously the gauge cluster. But then we're gonna have the surround for the truck, which is sitting over there. So we'll attach the Crown Vic gauge cluster to the housing, and then that will just bolt to it. So Bad Apple's already done it, so I know how it's done. Ooh, what's that you see in the background? Ooh, we'll talk about this later. So as I said, this year the PCM sticks through, so I just put it right there. Yes, it's not the most attractive. I tried to get it up in there, but there's just not enough room. So in lieu of taking it and remounting it back up in here, but it's not really meant to that. The weather connector pack stuff is made to go through the firewall, so it's not that big of a deal. Everyone knows it's a hot rod. We're using the Crown Vic gas pedal on this one because it is cable driven. That's the truck brake that's been modified up in there a little bit so that it will work with the booster and the rod and stuff. And then up, what is that? Look at that beauty right there. First time using this, and I absolutely love it. So customer wanted the truck column. This truck was a manual transmission, so we have no selector on the column. So we have an automatic transmission from the Crown Vic. Nothing there. Automatic, manual, automatic, manual, automatic, manual, automatic, manual. So what do? Well, we were originally going to go with this because I really wanted to reduce it. But again, availability issues and stuff. They told me it didn't exist. In fact, I got to check because I'm pretty sure I canceled this through Jegs because they told me it wasn't even going to be available, thinking about being available until the end of July. And that doesn't work when you're building trucks for people and stuff. So so I got the B&M. Let's see, can we zoom in on stuff when you're here? Ooh, I can. So I got the B&M Unimatic, which actually isn't too awfully bad based off of my neighbor's recommendations because this wasn't available. It's obviously B&M, so it's not quite as nice as the Lokar is, but still pretty cool. It's got all the detents and stuff onto it, so the B&M is not bad. But this Lokar one is just, as you can see, it is beautiful. This thing is slick. So Big difference between these two is the thing that's different is the B&M is cable. So just like all other B&Ms I've ever heard of and ever used, it's going to be a cable that comes out of here and runs down inside to the lever on the transmission. Where the Lokar, as you can see, is a lever that attaches to a rod that is adjustable and set up, and like in this case had to be tweaked and bent and stuff to get it to line up. Plus we had to have spacer deals and stuff, but it worked. It lined up. It is beautiful. So that's really the biggest difference with it. It used to be that the Lokar was the only one that had the detent. So this actually is a push button, so it pushes in. Oops. Yep, there we go. It pushes in, and then you can shift it around, sort of select your gears and stuff onto it, same as the way that works. But the B&M actually does have a detent. Well, with that one, instead of a button on the top, the whole thing gets pushed down and clicks in and stuff. So the B&M one definitely has, it's every position. Once you get it to it, it locks it. So this is a little bit different, but it's not bad. We've taken the truck, driven it around. I popped it through park, and even though, as you see, it has the overdrive and drive and first, which would be second and first, same as what the Vic has and stuff onto it. It's just that nice thing is you'd think you could just go, oops, accidentally, while I'm selecting gears, running down to drive, I accidentally am all the way into first, and now it's not shifting right. But it really isn't. You know where you're at on stuff. Before you can even get to drive, you have to go through neutral. There is a lock spot with neutral, so it clicks into neutral, and there it is. So you do have to go bloop, past it. It's not a hindrance or anything. Like I said, it is beautiful. The thing is just amazing. I love this brush knob. It just looks super cool. The bracket was easy to set up and stuff. I will say, do all of this before you put the cab on, because working down inside here and underneath is not exactly the greatest. So if you can get that all set up and stuff before you get the cab, at least before you get the cab locked into its final position. This front clip, as you saw, is all on and bolted down and stuff. The bed mount or the cab mounts and stuff are, the AC's all hooked up, so everything's all done. So but again, this didn't show up until like just recently, so that kind of boned me on that whole thing. But if you're gonna use this, plan ahead, order it. If you're gonna order it now when we're having all these stupid ass troubles and stuff, this is just freaking ridiculous. But anyway, so order that so that you can get this set up where you're able to take the cab off and on and stuff, that way you can get under here and through it. But it's really awesome. As you can see, you use the front two bolts on the shield shaft here. Has set screws, sorry, my finger in the way, on either end that screw into the hollow bosses. It's all nice. And look, it's solid. I am yanking on that. It's the bracket and stuff. It's nice. It's not going anywhere. It really is. And as you're kind of putting it together, a little bit of Rector set like, and so you're like, what the hell? But it's all heavy. It's all the same thickness almost as this stuff is here. So you can have a neutral safety switch. I don't, because we don't need it, because it has the one, in essence, on the linkage coming through and stuff. So this is Lokar's, there it is, Ford AOD 4R70W and AODE automatic transmount shifter installation kit. So this is the full kit. This does come with the rod that goes back inside the transmission, because it has another lever that hooks on that can be clocked different ways and stuff. We did not end up using that. Again, it's in the truck and stuff. I don't have a lift. I didn't want to, to do that. You actually have to drop the pan the way the instructions say, and where's it at? It's, hold on, that doohickey right there. Oops. So the selector shifter trans arm, that goes actually inside the pan. So you have to drop the pan, which means you have to drain it. You got to get in there and undo the springs and stuff. So it's a lot of stuff. And I think even then it wouldn't work the way this has to mount up, because you're, like I said, we're offset way away. From what I understand, talking to other people, this supposedly is not for this application. It doesn't work, but it seems to work pretty well. Like I said, yes, it wasn't just a bolt in and go. So I don't know if that's what Lokar means, or whoever says that it's not right. But it works. It's awesome. And to me, it looks sexy as all can be. There on the floor. And like, he's keeping the bench seat, go bucket. I mean, it's in park right now. And when it comes all the way forward, it's just it sits like this. It's only a couple inches forward. So there's plenty of room for someone to sit here or, get by and not have to worry about it and stuff. So I don't know. I mean, we'll see when we get the cover put back onto it. But to me, it is sexy as all can be. It's gorgeous. It's nice. I love it. The one big thing though with this is there is no boot for it. The B&M comes, even though it's a cheap as hell boot, it still comes with a boot. This does not have a boot, so I'll either have to find a boot or do something. The really cool thing about the Lokar, as well as compared to the B&M, is so they're both a 12-inch shaft, which isn't bad. Like I said, it sits here. I can do this. See, whoa. So there we go. So you can see the fingers and how it sits for the dash. So like I said, you're up. It's parked, so you're not going any further. And I'm sitting in the seat. Yeah, you got to reach up, but it's not like you're reaching and shifting. You reach up, you put it back into drive, and I'm sitting back. Yeah, so sitting back against the seat, I can't reach it, so I have to reach forward. Not bad, just a little bit to hit it. I guess we could have gone one more, but I don't know. I think that position is really great with it. But yeah, so it's 12-inch, same as the B&M. The B&M is what it is, I think. I don't think you can get longer ones. You might be able to. That one's just a screw on, and so it doesn't have, like, this has the push button, so the cable comes down through and pushes into there. Regardless of that, you can get longer shifter arms for the Lokar one. So this kit just came with, like I said, it was together. So I might talk to Lokar and see if you can kind of like build your own kit, so to speak, on it. So like, I think it's really nice, but my dad, he said he would like to have had it like up here. Hell, you could do, all the way hell up here with a tiki torch thing on it or whatever they do. You could have something clear up here. But my dad said he would kind of like something kind of up in this range up here, so you weren't having to reach maybe so far away. I don't know. So the cool thing is that even if you get this kit, you can get these arms, rods, whatever you want to call them. The shifter arms would be. You can get the shifter arms in longer. I think 16 or 18 inch is what they come in. And then it comes with the new, you can use this button, this knob, but you just get the shaft longer with the cable that pushes down in. You can also get, if you look online, this has a side shifting application. So if you don't want to go this way, then you can actually go, you can side shift it and stuff. So I don't know why for necessarily a truck, but just like I said, it's just nice. For I think close to $500. It's nice. It's very nice. I like it a lot. Like I said, especially if you have a column that doesn't have the selector already, and if you're not using the Crown Vic steering column, then that's your option. Otherwise, you're talking, $1,000 for an aftermarket steering column and stuff. The Helix ones are a little bit cheaper, which we might use those in one of the trucks just to see how they work out. But personally, I like that. That's the look of the truck and stuff. So, of course, AC, like I said, is in. So there's the controls sticking in the radio spot. It's kind of boogered, but I got it straightened up. Like I said, that's all bent and stuff. So he can trim it out. There is our AC system down there, blower blowing through. There's the vents. We got 4 of them. They are 2.5, which is standard vent sizes for any of the aftermarket hoses and vents and stuff. So the owner can hook them up however he wants to. Bad Apple on the mill truck actually stuck those cool round ones in right here and right here. So in those black spots on either side, he drilled through with 2.5 inch and had those round ones that you can adjust the louvers and stuff on, which is pretty badass. Then he also stuck another one back there because the customer for that truck didn't like the one that ran, all the way down here with the registers, which actually wouldn't be bad because it might hide some of that stuff sticking down, but I don't know. Or you could cut the big long one in right there. There's so many different options on it. He's going to use the vintage, so he's going to put the AC controls will actually fit in this, not in the ashtray, but so he'll take the ashtray off and they'll actually fit right here with the 3D bracket plate thing that he's making for it. So with that, then it'll just actually recess right in this spot right here, and there'll be the controls that go like this. So again, looking much more stock and factory than those rotator knobs. And really, there's no reason for these rotator knobs. Fan works, obviously temperature works, but that selector switch, nothing. I mean, we're not directing any air anywhere. It just dumps out here. We no longer have all the vacuum door actuators that these actuate. So all we have is vent, normal AC and max AC, and that's it. Don't matter whether you turn it the other direction because they don't work. They don't direct air anywhere. So yeah. So there we are. We took it around this weekend after we got the shifter all in to double check first, obviously, if it was going into gears and park and everything else like it was supposed to, which it did. And we drove it around with no windshield, and I forgot to clean out, and so glass and crud and everything else was blowing in our faces while we're driving down the road. But it shifted and worked it the way it's supposed to. It worked. So yeah, that's where we are. Mill truck is rocking around. Remember, safety first. Less cost per foot. All right, guys. Later.